Hello from Heidelberg.
Hi everybody.
My name is Johanna.
My name is Andreas. Today on Visa Guru we'll be talking about
Studying in Germany, living in Germany.
a few things you should really keep in mind if you want to come to study to Germany. I'm a student from Germany. I'm doing my PhD here in American Studies. And I've also been working as an advisor for international students for a while.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम फ्रेंड, बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। आज हम मौजूद हैं हमारे दो बहुत अच्छे गेस्ट के साथ, अंद्रेयास और यूहाना। आज हम बात करेंगे ऐसी प्रॉब्लम्स के बारे में जो कि आप लोग अक्सर फेस करते हो, टेंशन में रहते हो कि स्टडी इन जर्मनी को लेके कोई 3-4 ऐसी बातें जो आपको समझ नहीं आती। चलिए इन दो एक्सपर्ट से पूछते हैं और देखते हैं ये क्या कहते हैं इस बारे में। So Johanna, what do you think? Should international students come to Germany?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Is it good to work alongside with studies?
I would say for a certain amount of time, yes.
Yes.
Can only rich people opt to study in Germany?
Yes.
At the moment it's a lot easier if you have enough money. Yeah, definitely yes.
Settlement chances after studies?
Jein.
So it means yes or no, friends. Finding English job after completing your studies?
No, difficult.
No, it's too hard.
Should someone have a work experience before getting into a graduate degree in Germany, or work experience is not that necessary?
Not necessary, no.
Sometimes it's a good thing, yes, I would say.
What about the study gap? Some students, they have 3 or 4 years of study gaps. They have been studying regularly, they have been working as well for a long time instead of having work experience. What do you say about it? Is it acceptable in German universities?
No, I don't think age is an issue, or like if you have gaps in your CV or something.
No, you can do it.
Is it good to do IELTS or TOEFL or other English language learning test systems before coming to Germany to study here in universities?
I'm not quite sure.
I would say only for courses that are taught in English, but for most courses, since they're in German, it doesn't make a difference, I would say. No.
What is about the living costs in Germany for accommodation, food, transportation and such type of things? What do you think? Is it expensive to live here?
Well, I would say Germany is certainly maybe a bit cheaper than other countries like the UK or other Scandinavian countries, for example, but it's certainly quite expensive, I guess, compared to most other countries. Especially living costs, since students will be living in university towns where there's usually a lack of space. You should keep in mind that you will spend a fair amount of your budget on living, and I would recommend to plan with something around 700 to 800 euros in total, and maybe half of that for living, for rent. So most universities don't have tuition fees like you might be expecting from universities in the US, but there are sometimes administrative fees, semester fees you have to pay. They are not as high, but you definitely have to keep them in mind. You also don't need a lot of money for books and study material, I would say, because there's usually a library you can borrow books from. If you have a notebook or a computer at hand, that would be handy, of course. As I've been told, food is a bit more expensive in Germany than in, like, let's say, India or Pakistan.
And Johanna, what's about the transportation?
Usually most student cities, they offer a special ticket for students. So I would say for a semester you should have like 150, 200 euros. You have to keep that in mind.
Most difficult aspect of in the life of the students once they complete their studies, once they opt to choose their career here in Germany. Is it possible straight away, or there are some more barriers once even they have graduated or they have a master's degree from here? What could be the hurdles setting or jumping into the professional careers?
One point which is really important, you only have a limited time after finishing your studies if you really want to stay in Germany, because if you don't have a job, you're not allowed to stay here if you're not from a European country. And so it's really necessary to find a job very quick after graduating, because the student visas are different visas than the regular ones. So this is an important distinction you have to be aware of. And yes, and I don't know if is it easy to find a job. It really depends on the subject. For example, a lot of engineers, or if you're an IT expert, it should be quite easy to find a job. But with other careers, it really depends on what part of Germany you're living in. For example, there are some in the rural areas, of course, there are less jobs than in the cities, and so on and so on. So this is not the question of like you cannot really say yes or no.
I would also say that speaking German well is a good thing if you want to find a job in Germany. There may be international companies where you can get along with English very well, but there will always be German colleagues and yeah, even customers also you have to talk to in German, so it might be off-putting for employers if they realize you don't speak German. That is certainly something I would say that improves your chances on the job market.
What about the balance between part-time working and studies? How do you take it as an international student?
It's definitely the case that there are some restrictions on working while you're also like enrolled as a student. I think you'll be able to work only 20 hours per week. Many students also work part-time to earn some money on the side, and I think that helps some of them to get along.
I would say for most it works out. But it also really depends on like if you can like clearly work one day, for example, on the weekend, then it would not interfere with your schedule at all, because you can put your hours in there. But if you have like a job where you have to come in every morning, for example, from 9 to 12, yeah. Yes, and a lot of those jobs are student jobs, so that would not be that easy. So it depends on what job you can find, and of course also how much you can earn. For example, if you earn a little more, you have to work a little less hours.
Yeah, that's important. And also I've heard the fact that once you start working here straight away alongside with your studies, you're not going to get very good jobs. So you are going to get a very initial type of lower level jobs. So what do you have to say about that, just in quick words?
Yeah, most jobs for students are like little side jobs. So you would be more like a help at, for example, at a grocery store or at the clothing store. You would fill up the stocks. I've also heard that you are paid the lowest possible amount for yeah.
For that type of level.
Yeah. So most times you would just get minimum wage, which is not that much in Germany. So yeah, it's not like those high-paid jobs for students are laying on the streets. I would say it's the opposite.
So German language is obviously an issue if you want to come to study here. Most of the undergraduate courses and almost all of the master's programs are completely in German. There might be some courses, higher courses, that are also held in English, but it's definitely necessary to speak and understand German.
There is also the possibility to study German here when you arrive here, but it will take quite some time, and it will also cost quite some money, because the official places are very, very limited, and the private schools are not cheap.
What type of accommodation would you like to suggest to the international students? Student residence halls, private accommodation, or the shared accommodation?
The cheapest form of accommodation is the student halls, but of course not the private ones. There are private and public ones. The public ones are quite cheap. You can easily get a room for 250 or 300 euros, but those rooms are very limited, and also the number of international students who are able to move in those cheap apartments are not that high. And so if you switch to the private market, if you want to have your own apartment, that would cost a lot of money. So most students choose shared accommodation, so those Wohngemeinschaften.
Thanks a lot, guys, for being a part of Visa Guru and helping our community who opt to study in Germany and they want to have a successful career here. I think you may have thought good enough about the thoughts of both of these guys, and they have elaborated everything clearly. Thanks a lot, Johanna, for being a part of this video. Andreas, thanks a lot. We will surely be sometime in future together once again to present something more extraordinary for you guys. Thanks a lot. Till then,
Bye. See you.
bye-bye.